morning, good afternoon, good evening, football fans. My name's Ryan Cato. I'm here with Hunter Thompson. We're the Backups, a football podcast. That's the third time I've said this at episode 1 of this season. They're forever lost to the internet or wherever they go. Not this one though. This one we're sticking on. Hunter, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling ambitious, I'm hoping this one doesn't get lost like, some previous episodes. Um, like you were saying, we've attempted to record this. I think this is our third or fourth time attempting to record the
Something like
first
that.
episode of the season. And yeah.
And they've all been bangers too. That's the problem. Is that I think this is our third time. The first two were banger episodes. They were really good.
Oh yeah, they were phenomenal. I remember like we left the last one like, yeah,
That was a
that kicks
good ass
ass.
episode. Yeah, and then they just nowhere to Hunter's audio was nowhere to be found. So here we are again recording episode 1 in football season 2
I hope
of
you
the
guys can
podcast.
hear me. I really do.
I think we should be in good shape this time. If not, I'll go back and read your lips and record your voice. So we'll do it that way. But obviously we just got done with week 1 of the NFL. Got through our Thursday night games, Sunday games, and then finally that Monday night thriller, Ravens Raiders, which was excellent. Um, first thing I want to hear though from you is what do you think your personal week 1 overreaction is? So a team you think is crazy good now, a team you think is worst team in the league now. What's your week
My
1
overreactions
overreaction?
to it. My
Overreaction. What's your
overreactions. Atlanta's picking first overall. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know if that's an overreaction, but like,
I mean, yeah, that's kind of where I thought we were going with that. Um, give me what you're seeing with Atlanta that's got you so down in the dumps, and we can
holy
kind of talk
shit,
about it.
dude,
I mean,
that
because I
game. Okay,
know.
so I was at that game. Got fortunate enough to be given some tickets for that, so I was able to go, and I walk into the Bins. Might just be the most beautiful stadium in all of football. I
Yeah.
think SoFi Stadium might compete with that over in LA because that one looks gorgeous from the outside. But walking to the Bins, beyond excited, beyond hype. Food prices are cheap, beer prices are cheap. Your boys out here just kind of
Feeling
having a
good.
good time.
Good.
I've been going through some personal stuff, so it's like, man, just nice to kick back and relax a little bit,
Good escape. Good escape.
Good escape. And then kickoff happened, and in opening drive, we kind of we looked okay. We implemented some things that were that were cool. We implemented some play action stuff. Used a lot of 2 tight end, 3 tight end sets to kind of like set the tone a little bit. Hit the red zone, kick the field goal. Yeah, cool, whatever. Second drive, repeat process. Get down to the red zone, stutter again, kick the field goal. And I'm like, all right, whatever. 6 points after
Points
2
are
drives.
points. Yeah, points are
But
points.
points are points. It's not ideal. But at this point, I think we're down like, I think at this point we just went down 15-6 when they got the second drive going, or when we got our third drive going for the Falcons, and then all of a sudden all hell broke loose, and we just looked like we forgot how to play football.
Yeah.
The line couldn't do shit. Jalen Mayfield looked like a UDFA free. He looked like you or me were out there playing left guard, and Caleb McGarry looked like the other one of us out there playing right tackle.
Right.
It was awful, and Matt Ryan isn't as youthful as he used to be at 36. That man's kind of a statue in the pocket, and he just kept getting destroyed by Fletcher Cox and Hargrave, and it's just like, well, we suck, and the thing that we're supposed to be good at, which is our offense, that couldn't get anything going. So that's my
Yeah.
overreaction in terms of like
Yeah. And
shit.
and and yeah, maybe picking first is an overreaction, and maybe not. I mean, it's absolute like curb stomping by the Philadelphia Eagles. Um, I agree. The line was horrendous. The defense wasn't much help anyway, even if the offense did have it going. Um, and we both kind of uh, went back and forth with some people on Twitter these last few days. Which if you guys aren't following us on Twitter already, Arcado NFL, H Thompson NFL, we like to get on there, have some NFL discourse. But we were both talking about
honestly,
how.
At this point, I'd be genuinely shocked if you're watching this or listening to this and you.
And you don't follow us on Twitter, yeah.
Like at that point, I'd be more surprised by that.
Facts. So you've probably seen it then. But I think at this point, my question is like, at what point do you just really, really give up and rebuild? I mean, trade Grady Jarrett, trade Debo. You already let Keanu O'Neal go, so that's pretty much your defense. Foye is probably gone, and you just let Matt Ryan disappear into the dust and just start over. At what point do you do that? Because I think
now you do
at
that
this
now.
point. Well, and I'm saying I even think it might be overdue.
It should have happened after the 2020 draft. Like that's when we should have been like, all right, cool, we're probably gonna blow this thing up. Yeah. And then it didn't happen. And then it didn't happen last year either. And it should have happened this offseason, like this past offseason. And it didn't. And so now we're sitting here having this conversation for the third season in a row about like, is it time to like maybe go into a rebuild? And yes, the answer is yes. We have pieces that we can draft capital and do fine.
I think they really just need to start shipping players off, just really pull a Dolphins and turn the whole thing in a circle. You know what I'm saying? Because it's I mean, there's a few young pieces like you noted on Twitter. I mean, we got AJ Terrell. Okay, AJ Terrell, not bad.
We got Kyle Pitts. Like that's a decent little trio right
there. That's a decent little group. But after that, I mean, it's aging stars and guys who are getting paid more than they should be.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few guys that you can probably justify keeping around too, like to be competent players during the build time, like Calvin Ridley. You can probably justify keeping.
Sure.
You can keep Foye. You know, you can probably keep Jake Matthews because left tackles are just hard to come by.
You think Foye resigns?
I mean, no, I don't know.
I don't think so either.
That's the dilemma. But
so I don't know. I just
I can talk about the Falcons for hours.
I mean, yeah, I can talk. We can talk. We're just shooting the shit, but it's obviously the Falcons aren't my team, but it's home team. It's home team. You know what I'm saying?
And your team has the same record as my team, so
that is true, but it is much less bleak, and we'll get to that in a minute. Bring it up as well, but yeah, I mean, I'm just nervous for that city. We're going like downhill in terms of the Falcons. I wouldn't say I have an overreaction to the Bills, but we can touch on the Bills real quick because the offense could not get it going against the Steelers this week. I mean, the Steelers every year solid defense. I mean that never lets up. And the Bills' defense looks good. I mean, I'm not worried about that at all. It's just we couldn't get any running game going, which is normal. And then it just didn't look like Josh Allen and the receivers were on the same page. But I think it's first game jitters, and we might be. I think we might be okay in the division that we're in. It's a pretty young division. Pats lost to the Dolphins. The Jets are in the division, so it's okay.
The Jets can only go up from where they were.
That is true.
This time last year, we were still on the fire Adam Gase train. We were talking about how, they're the worst roster in the league, and I don't know if they're still. I mean, they're probably still towards the worst roster in the league, but they're not the consensus worst one anymore. That goes to Houston.
No. Yeah, that's
and maybe even Atlanta.
Atlanta's pretty bad, but they've at least got some stars. Who's Houston's stars? Brandon Cooks?
I mean, Mark Ingram's turning into the new Frank Gore, so I guess that's
that's not a star either. They did put up 37 on the Jags this week.
Yeah, are you gonna tell me Tyrod Taylor isn't a star after doing that?
Tyrod Taylor was 5 this week. Yeah, I mean, he threw for 300 yards, 291. But
when was the last time Tyrod threw for 291? Was that his Buffalo days? If he ever even threw that much in Buffalo?
If he's ever done that, yeah. I mean, they must have stuck him with something different when they hit him in the lung last year, like week 3.
They gave him some of Justin Herbert's blood.
Yeah,
turned him into a superhuman.
They injected him for real because it was a different man out there. Brandon Cooks did make him look good. 5 for 132. So I don't know. The Texans could be surprising. I mentioned in a now lost episode that the AFC South is a pretty open division, and I still think so.
I think so too.
Did you see how the Titans looked?
Yeah, I'm glad the lost episode is nowhere to be found because I said some things on that one that would not have aged well in the week.
After we talked about the AFC South, I mean, because the Titans got blown up. The Colts lost too, yeah?
Yeah. I said the Colts were probably going to win the division. Nope.
Dude, I'm saying it.
They might, but
I just don't think the Seahawks are that good. And they put a score doesn't reflect it, I don't think. But
I think the Seahawks are the worst team in the West.
Yeah, that's a strong division, though. That's a strong division.
It feels weird saying that because, normally we talk about Seattle being, stupid good, but, that one feels weird to say.
Yeah, the Rams are great. And the Rams looked like one of the best teams this week. And that kind of puts on to my overreaction. I think Matt Nagy's the first coach fired.
Is that an overreaction though?
I think he's fired by into week 4, maybe week 5.
Do you think he could save his job by turning to Fields sooner? Even if there's the hiccups, say they start 0-4, but Fields is the week 3 and 4 starter when they lose.
I don't know, man. I think it might be too little, too late. They could blame it on Fields if they started in week 1. It's a rookie quarterback. He was the 4th quarterback drafted. Just let him breathe. Let him breathe. I don't know, man. I think Nagy's losing his job.
I think it'd be dumb not to fire Nagy, but still.
But it was before this year we talked about the Bears have something to say this year. They went to the playoffs last year. They gotta kind of step up this year. And they looked horrendous week 1, given they were playing the Rams. Okay, but I don't know, man. It was really bad. It was really bad. They were getting smoked by Van Jefferson. I mean, it wasn't too hot, but I do want to real quick because we were kind of hitting on the NFC West there, and I was talking to some of the coaches on the team I coach for at the high school. They're all obviously Arizona natives.
Oh shit, that's lost in the last in one of the last episodes too. You're a coach now.
Oh yeah, that is a lost episode thing. I am a coach. Yeah. I'm coaching football at the high school I teach at. It's super sick. I've been doing special teams and working with film, which is the stuff that we do here anyway. So I'm doing the film chart and plays, stuff like that. It's really cool. So congratulations to me. I put it on Twitter too, but I was talking with them. They're all Arizona natives, so they're Cardinals fans. And before the week, the kind of consensus around Phoenix was this is not going to be a good team. The offense isn't the offense isn't. They don't believe in Cliff Kingsbury.
I don't believe in Cliff Kingsbury, but
they were thinking it's a 7-10 team now, and I was saying the team's got a lot of offensive talent, but what really surprised me in week 1 was the defense, and Chandler Jones had an amazing game, sure, but the more I thought about it, That's a team that's been investing in their defense for the past couple of years. I mean, picked up Isaiah Simmons, picked up Zaven Collins in this last year's draft, and so I mean, do you think that that's the real deal in Arizona, or is that like kind of a week one fluke?
So the way the Cardinals went about building their team, like they added a lot of veterans on offense with a few mid to late round picks, with the exception of Kyler Murray. Like a lot of those guys are like vets; they've been in the league for a little while, so they have experience. But the defense, like you were saying, has just been kind of taken like over with a lot of the early capital that they use in draft, and it from the team building perspective, it's really really good. The only thing that I think is holding them back is Cliff Kingsbury. So if he struggles, and which I don't know, week one might be a fluke, might not. There were times last year where we were talking about the Cardinals being the real deal. So I think we're going to really know what the Cardinals are by week 4. But if Kingsbury isn't it, he's, I mean, like, we can talk about this other part in a minute, but like the USC job, like he's probably going to get fired to go to USC. He's going to go to Southern Cal. And then the Cardinals are going to be looking for their new coach to take over their team, which maybe that could be the Eric Bieniemy landing spot finally.
That's what I was going to say.
Who knows?
Yeah. I just it feels like just because they brought in Kingsbury and it kind of fit with that like Kyler Murray like the Kyler Murray college situation. So they were like, oh, we're just going to do it together. But I don't think Cliff Kingsbury is the offensive, I don't want to call him a genius, but offensive like guru that they thought he was.
I don't think so either.
And he's just young. You can be young and good looking and not be an offensive guru. You know what I'm saying? Like
the Sean McVay effect, dude.
Right. So people think, and furthermore, the Shanahan effect. I mean, he's young, he's a good looking guy, and everybody thinks, oh, he's just gonna like change the world of offense forever. And sometimes
charismatic, good looking offensive coach.
And sometimes you don't need to do that. And so it wouldn't surprise me. Bieniemy's, a guy that I'd look at. I wouldn't surprise me even if they kind of try to rebrand and make this a defensive focused team. And just
maybe go get Brian Daboll from Buffalo.
Yeah, Brian Daboll too. That's another offensive minded coach that'll probably have a job this next year. Joe Brady. But I don't want to count out Cliff Kingsbury too quick. Maybe they go to the playoffs this year and they can't fire him out of.
Who knows?
It's very possible.
If they win the division, you can't fire him.
Right. Last team in the NFC West that I got to mention the 49ers, and the fact that so Hunter and I play in the same fantasy league, and today he sniped Elijah Mitchell out from under me. I was very pissed.
Perks of being the worst team.
Elijah Mitchell is my boy from last year. University of Louisiana. He went undrafted, yeah?
I think he went
7th round undrafted, something like that. I think
he was 7th round.
Yeah, he was really low down there.
I was pissed. I wanted to be in Atlanta so bad.
Yeah, and y'all ended up with Javion Hawkins, who didn't make the team.
Yep, I'm pretty sure he's on the PS.
Yeah,
I know Caleb Huntley's on the practice squad.
Yeah, Elijah Mitchell. I mean, it's very possible that next week Sermon comes back and it's a whole different thing in San Francisco. But Elijah Mitchell looked nice, I thought.
It blows my mind that Sermon was a healthy scratch.
Yeah, what was that about? Was there ever any like news that came out about that you saw?
I want to just say like Shanahan said just something along the lines of like he wasn't as good as the other guys or wasn't as impressing as much or something. Which, I mean, that's a Kyle Shanahan thing to say if I've ever heard anything.
Yeah, he just is like he just wasn't the guy this week.
I mean,
Lord, it's very possible.
I kind of love coaches like that to an extent. It's kind of refreshing.
Yeah, and I feel like you can especially do that in the running back position. You know,
Because
the
they
way
don't
they do
matter.
it in right, the way they do it in with the Rams, the way they do it in the 49ers, two of the coaches that we were just talking about. You know, whoever the hot hand is, they just give it to them. So,
Like the thing with McVay and Shanahan, they could put you and me and our fat asses out there, and we're gonna rush for 100 yards.
right, because it's schemed perfectly. It's, you know, all the motion and it's the Ryan Cato offensive effect. It's the same thing. Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Ryan Cato. No, but but for real, we actually though, we are playing a team this week that uses a lot of motion like that. And I was charting the offense. They got this one kid on the team that's a BYU commit. And yeah, and we play 8-on-8 ball. So it's not even like a big deal like that. But like he's a BYU commit, he's huge. And they're using him out the slot, they're using him at tight end, fullback, they're using him as an X. He's the quarterback sometimes in Wildcat. It's ridiculous. So y'all pray for me this week because I'm about to go up against Sean McVay and freaking Darrell Henderson / Tyler Higbee / Robert Woods for real. It's gonna be really bad. But we're in danger this week for real.
Yeah, we're all over the place tonight. I love it, but we're all over the place.
It doesn't matter. We're just hanging out. We're not gonna lose this game, or we're not gonna lose this
Bro,
recording. So
it's at the point where like obviously I'm putting effort into what I'm saying, but like the structure of it, I don't get two shits about because like
we don't need any structure.
Dude, we can't. And the thing is, like, I can't handle losing it. I can't handle losing this one.
I can't handle losing it. So,
but the more effort I put into it, the more emotionally invested.
Oh yeah, when we start writing down outlines and stuff, it's gonna be bad news. This is another team I want to hit on. The Lions. Okay, that's a team that lost this last week. But the Lions looked kind of nice for a team that's so talentless. They looked good. I mean, the defense looked horrendous, but Jared Goff was getting it.
He was. Jared Goff looked all right. I mean, he looked like an NFL starter. I mean, not a good NFL starter, but
an NFL starter. He was average.
He looked like he deserved to be there.
Yeah.
But the thing that really caught my eye in that game, fucking Penny Sewell playing left tackle.
Yeah.
And playing left tackle, dominating against Nick Bosa.
He's good, bro. I mean, yeah, Nick Bosa is one of the best in the game right now. But yeah, he looked like he was supposed to be there. A lot of the talk around Penny Sewell was, oh, he's just a high ceiling guy. He's not like ready to like go at left tackle. And he got his chance to prove everybody wrong week 1. He looked good. The running backs too. The running backs look great too.
Oh yeah.
Lift and Williams both. So I don't know.
Maybe the Lions will be sneaky competitive. You know, Dan Campbell and the eating kneecaps or biting kneecaps or whatever the hell.
I mean, they did lose week 1. But the defense really is going to get screwed all year. I think it's not. They got no pass rush.
Bro, they have nothing there.
No, zero pass rush. It is horrendous. And then the secondary still is like not all the way there. So I don't know, but it looked surprisingly good. And maybe they will contend just because the rest of that division looks so bad. Like, where were the Packers this week?
Aaron Rodgers is playing this big old.
He's sandbagging, right?
Dude, yes, he has to be.
Okay, that's what I thought.
He has to be, bro. Aaron Rodgers doesn't look that bad without doing it on purpose.
It can't be. Yeah, he can't be. Because, okay, the Saints' defense is good. It's good, right?
It's good, but it's not that good.
It's not hold Aaron Rodgers to 3 points good. It isn't.
No, bro, it pissed me off. I started Aaron Rodgers in fantasy that week.
Oh, man. And
like,
then it's not like
there's the second INT. The second INT is how I know he's sandbagging the fuck out of it. It's the one where he just sat back in the pocket, was sitting there reading the defense, and just was like, fuck it, and just yeets it 50 yards downfield right into the safety's hands. No, get the fuck out of here, bro.
No,
Get the
he's
fuck
never
out
done
of here.
that in his life. He's never done that in his life. And you know why else I know he's sandbagging?
Huh.
Because MVS got 8 targets. That's how else I know. He got more targets than Devontae Adams.
Yeah. Yeah. He was also on my fantasy team. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like,
My
I
dumbass
mean,
decided the stack of Rodgers and Adams was gonna be
and
good for me.
which sounds so sick. It sounds so good.
Bro,
But then
I made that pick and I was like, league championship, here I come.
I mean, yeah, it. What you gonna do, bro? And that's like this is what I'm talking about. I'm looking at all these. So not a single team in the NFC North won this week, and the Lions lost to the 49ers. Had a little comeback at the end. It looked nice. Okay, the Vikings lost, the Vikings who everybody was talking about in the offseason were like, oh, Vikings could be for real this year. Vikings, I was seeing that everywhere, dog. Dalvin Cook, Thielen, Justin Jefferson, and they were saying
Oh,
the defense was nice. They were saying the defense was nice.
oh.
And where did it get them but losing to the Bengals in overtime?
I can't get over somebody actually thinking the Vikings were gonna be good. The Vikings looked like they were gonna be horrible this year. I thought they were gonna be bad.
No, I mean, but look at the
They have good
defense.
pieces, but I think they missed their window.
Probably so. Probably so. I mean, like,
The retool that they were trying, like, because they tried to keep the few core pieces in place to like keep them competitive, but the retool they did, like replacing a lot of the aging out guys, did not go well.
I mean, do you think Kirk Cousins was ever good enough to really give him a serious playoff run?
I think, yeah, in 17, 18, yeah. I mean, back when they were like winning the 10, 11 games, or the 13 and 3 year, the Case Keenum year.
Yeah.
I think had they had Cousins, I think it would have been a more successful season. But I think they had like one more year after that to really make a shot, and that was when they signed Cousins, and then they didn't make it.
Yeah. I mean, it just when you look at the stat lines of this Bengals game, it doesn't look so bad, but it's the Bengals, man. Like, I just don't know. Like,
I mean, I'm not going to slander the Bengals too hard because they're doing better than the Falcons, but
sure.
they're not a great team. I mean, granted, it's
Nah.
CFL, everyone beats everyone, but if you're a team who has hopes for playoff success, if you're a team who hopes you can make the playoffs, you should not be losing to a team like the Bengals in overtime.
Hell no. It should
Like
not be
if
no.
they just caught you on an off day and you lost like 17-31 or some shit like that, different
Yeah.
story.
They
But
just beat you. But if a
yeah,
team beats you like that in overtime, they're a better team than you. You know what I'm saying?
exactly. If you just
So,
like lose a trap game, that's one thing, but losing like a legitimate loss in overtime is not good.
and yeah. And speaking of that game too, Jamar Chase looked like the real deal. Jamar Chase was looking real good.
Bro, all this Jamar Chase has been the biggest like question mark for me going into the season out of like all the guys that we scouted last year. Because during the preseason he looked like he couldn't do anything. He looked like he couldn't get open. And then he came out and said, "Yeah, the balls are harder to catch because they don't have the white marks on them or whatever the hell he said."
Well, okay, but the thing is people were taking that out of context.
No, 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 no.
They,
I know what he was saying, but like the fact he publicly said it was like, oh, okay.
yeah, I mean, and then he looked fine.
So that man had me questioning all my wide receiver rankings all last season. And he ended up being my 2 behind Smith because I love Smith's game. And then
Sure.
as soon as the preseason started happening, I was like, man, should Chase have been lower on my list? Should he have been like below Bateman?
No, he's fine. He was always good. It's people. I love going on Twitter and just scrolling because people say the most outlandish things about the preseason, bro. People say the most outlandish things about the preseason. I went on there. They're talking about Jamar Chase is never going to be a successful NFL wide receiver. They're talking about. I mean, I'm saying I was seeing some crazy stuff, and I was like, we just played 3 weeks of the preseason. This is not even the real thing.
I was worried he was going to come in with a bit of a learning curve, but like,
Sure.
I still had faith he was going to be good. I just thought he was going to take a little bit of time to adjust.
I mean, and he came right in, and he linked back up with his old quarterback, and it's all good.
It's a match made in heaven right there.
All is right in the world, bro. Ja'Marr Chase and Joe Burrow, and my boy T. Higgins still looking nice, sitting right behind him, that little wide receiver too.
Yo, you trying to trade T. Higgins in fantasy? All I'm saying.
Let me see what we got going on. Because I need an RB.
You know what? An RB1?
Yeah.
Well, I need a wide receiver too. I feel like my RB1 for your wide receiver 2 is not gonna be a fair trade.
No, not straight up.
Oh, okay. I see.
Let me see. Real quick.
Yo, you want Devin Singletary for T. Higgins?
No. I'm 0% interested in that. Oh, you starting Javonte Williams. This is no good. Yeah, I can't do this. Sorry,
listen, bro. I had Mostert get hurt. Okay.
Yeah, you have Mostert, and now he's out. But now you got Elijah Mitchell. So that's
I do have Elijah Mitchell. I'm not planning on trading him. So
he's in your flex. We're gonna see though. Maybe we could work something out. I'm trying to get DeAndre Swift right now, from Titshaw. So we'll see. We're gonna take a quick break.
Earlier.
What's that?
I was trying to get Lamar from Titshaw earlier.
I sent him a message. We'll see. We're gonna take a quick break because I gotta take a piss real quick, and then we'll come right back. But before we go, I do have a sponsored message. I keep forgetting about this. For Around the Block, and we're sponsored by Symbol. So Symbol is the stock market for sports where you can buy and sell virtual shares of your favorite teams using real money. Each time your team wins, you earn a win payout. If your team loses, you lose nothing. So Symbol offers trading for the NFL, NBA, MLB, and with college football coming this season right now, starting this fall. So visit www.symbol.com today and use promo code BACKUPS to earn a $10 deposit bonus on your first deposit. That's www.symbol.com, promo code BACKUPS. So we will be right back. And during this break, you go sign up for Symbol using our code, okay? We'll be right back. So welcome back, football fans. Ryan Cato, Hunter Thompson back at it. Thank you for signing up for Symbol during the break. It means the world to us that you're putting thousands of dollars in our pockets every month.
Listen, we don't get paid for that, but we want to.
We don't. But we want to. We want to. Actually, I think we get payouts like we get a percentage from ATB if we.
Maybe. Okay, that's dope. Well, in that case, sign up for Symbol because we're just trying to pay for this podcast.
What I'm saying, we just want to make $15 a month. So.
We just want to pay for the pod.
What I'm saying, just the pod, baby, just the pod. Thursday night football. I wanted to hit on that. Something that we didn't talk about. We haven't really gotten to talk about even like just personally. But Tampa Bay, Dallas, in that shootout. Both quarterbacks throwing over 50 passes. I mean, it really came down to it. Any reactions from that game? Because I know I have at least one. But any reactions from that game on Thursday?
Don't pay running backs, even though Zeke's good at pass pro. You don't pay a running back. Because Tony Pollard was more explosive when he got the ball, which granted, that's not all running backs do. Zeke was phenomenal in the run blocking or in the pass pro because Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh are just monsters. Specifically, Vita Vea. Vita Vea is a freaking man. Like,
yeah.
He's insane. But don't pay running backs. That's my first.
That was my main takeaway as well, because both Zeke and Rojo, absolutely horrendous on Thursday Night Football. Zeke going 11 for 33, and Rojo 4 for 14. But you saw two teams with great receiving cores that really came to play. Amari Cooper got targeted 16 times. CeeDee Lamb got targeted 15. And Michael Gallup's out now. He hurt. What did he hurt? Was it his ankle? I don't remember, but
yes. Sorry, there's just a weird car noise from right outside my window.
You're good, bro.
Dude, that's what the dude, this car is fucking crazy. What the hell's going on?
What are they doing? They doing donuts in the parking lot?
No, I mean kind of like, so we're in the apartment like right next to the main road. So like,
okay,
you can hear all this shit. Now they're in reverse. A dude just hopped out of the car. He's it's an old black like 4Runner type looking thing with like a red racing stripe down the side. And it has all black rims and wheels and tires and all that shit. And it's been like squealing. Like anytime it starts to like pull off, it starts like sputtering. So
welcome to Kennesaw. And that's the car news. That's the outside car news with Hunter Thompson. If you want to hear more car news, you can subscribe to our podcast, follow us on Twitter, go to YouTube, subscribe there. You'll hear more Kennesaw car news with Hunter Thompson.
Maybe I'll just do like a sole episode of me sitting here commentating the cars.
You're just looking outside, bro.
Kind of thought like giving them like prospect grades. Like, okay, this 2016 Challenger is
he's kind of explosive coming off the jump. Good motor. He's got good bender on the edge. No, but Jesus Christ. I don't even remember. Oh, Michael Gallup actually hurt his calf, by the way. That's the answer that we were looking for.
I completely forgot what we were talking about.
I forgot what we were talking about for a second. Michael Gallup hurt his calf, but two explosive offenses with two great quarterbacks, and that's what you'll get. I mean, almost 400 yards apiece.
Ooh.
And
let me ask you a question real quick that I just thought of.
Okay.
Antonio Brown, is he back?
Fuck, I don't know, man. I used to love Antonio Brown when he was like the man on the Steelers. I loved watching him play. So my heart wants to say yes. My brain said,
a little salty with Antonio Brown though, like after he dicked you guys in that trade thing.
Yeah, I mean the thing is like Antonio Brown's gonna Antonio Brown. You know what I'm saying? He's not, you know. You can't trust Antonio Brown to not fuck you over. He's done it to several teams now. I'm not like I'm past that. I'm past that. But I don't know. Yeah. 5 for 121 and a touchdown. I mean, that looks real nice. And Mike Evans didn't get much love. So it's like he could be. I just feel like he's still the wide receiver 3 on that team.
See, I think he's the 2. I think Tom Brady trusts him. He might even be the 1. I think that's the one that Brady trusts the most. And Brady throws to guys that he trusts, which is why
him and Gronk.
Which is why Gronk still gets the numbers. It's why Mike Evans is so inconsistent, because I don't think Brady trusts him yet.
I mean that really might be the case. I mean, Evans still got numbers last year, but
he only had like 70 receptions though.
Yeah.
That's kind of low for like a wide receiver 1 in quotes.
For the guy who's supposed to be the wide receiver 1. And yeah, this last game he had 3 for 24. So
he also had like 3 drops though.
That is true. Maybe that's why Brady doesn't trust him.
Dude, I was so pissed. I have Evans on my dynasty team that we just did the startup draft for, and I was sitting there watching that game. I was like, okay, I'm invested because I need Brady. I need Evans to just do well. I lost by like 10 points, and Evans could have made that up had he caught those.
Because that's 3 3 points plus, if you have 10 yards per reception.
And the thing is, Brady would have got more numbers from that too.
Right. You would have been right back up. That's very unfortunate. Yeah, Mike Evans letting a lot of people down this week. I think I was playing against Mike Evans in one of my leagues.
I went 0-4 in my leagues this week.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, I got curb stomped in every single one too.
I put up more numbers in my 1 QB league than I did in our 2 QB league, so that was very unfortunate. But
I put up 70 points in our 2 QB league. The combination
that was unfortunate, bro. You had the worst week of maybe of all time. It was horrendous, bro. Like, let me hit this.
I know we're supposed to be a draft podcast, but like talking fantasy right now is important.
You had Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert, who were both fantasy. Justin Herbert was fine in real life. Fantasy wise, he was bad. Aaron Rodgers was horrendous this last week. Antonio Gibson would have been fine, but he fumbled and didn't score. Mostert is hurt. Adams suffered because of Rodgers. You have Michael Pittman Jr. The only regular player you had on the entire offense was Noah Fant, and he was fine. And you had Elijah Moore in the flex. And it's not like it would have been much better if you started anybody on your bench except for Teddy B. Teddy B was 5 this week. So, I mean, you still, even if you started your best lineup, you would have still lost 5.
Dude,
7.
He got over double my score.
Yeah, you still would have lost by like 60 points.
Yeah.
Had you started your best lineup this week. So, I mean, it's not like you really had a chance, but Lord Almighty, it was bad this week, Hunter. I'm not going to lie to you.
It was awful. That's why I deserved Elijah Mitchell, like in the waiver.
Man, I think I deserve Elijah Mitchell.
You can screw right on off, bro. You didn't put up 70 points in a 2-quarterback league.
That's true. I put up 146 and still got beat.
I literally put up like 70.6 points.
Yeah, it's because my first round pick was actually good.
The Rodgers Adams stack, bro. I thought that was flawless.
You're going to be picking up Jordan Love later in the year. You're going to have Jordan Love and Justin Herbert. It's going to be the 2 best quarterbacks of the 2020 draft.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my Lord. Yeah, you got it bad, my boy.
Bro,
it's really not. I mean, and he didn't even start his best lineup either, man.
No, I know. So maybe we'll give him a fantasy football podcast. Maybe that's what we'll do from now on.
I mean, I think it's just fun because we play fantasy, and we play in the same league. That's what really makes it fun.
Yeah.
Also, my other league, I always join a random league every year, and it's never as fun as my friends.
No, the random leagues aren't that good.
But my random league team is 5, bro. I have Jalen Hurts, McCaffrey, Swift, Ridley, Thielen, Darren Waller, Brandon Cooks.
Oh, dude, my random league's dope. Let me pull that up real quick. But dude, whenever people ask about our podcast, because people ask me all the time, they're like, "Oh, what's your podcast about?" I'm like, "Football." They're like college or pros. I'm like, it's football.
I don't just football, yeah. I mean, and that's it. That's what we come on here for. I feel like just to hang out and talk football.
Okay, I pulled up my random league.
Okay, hit me with it.
Justin Herbert, Alvin Kamara, DeAndre Swift, Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, Tyler Higbee, Julio Jones, Patriots defense, suck up. And then my bench, James Robinson, Jonnu Smith, Corey Davis, Jalen Waddle, Sony Michel, Matt Ryan, Darnell Mooney. You
got a damn good bench, too.
Yeah, and I lost.
Dude, Mooney, Waddle on your bench. You got it good. James Robinson's on your bench?
Yeah.
Oh, because you have Kamara and Swift.
I started James Robinson in the league last week when he put up 5 points. Yeah. I lost 101 to 123.
You didn't start Swift?
No, I didn't. It's the Niners defense.
It doesn't matter.
I
mean,
it was the Niners defense versus Houston's defense. I figured
that's fair. That's fair. That kind of actually brings up a point I didn't even mention. You think it's just first game jitters for Lawrence, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. That's what I think too. I mean, he still threw for over 300 yards. He had 3 touchdowns. It's not like, man, I think he's just nervous.
I do have a hot take about Lawrence though.
Okay, hit me.
I think he's gonna be the worst of the 5.
Of the 5.
I think he's gonna be the worst of the 5 in this class.
Including Mac Jones. Like career-wise?
Yeah.
Yeah, because, well, I think Mac Jones could just succeed just because he's in New England, you know?
Well, I mean, exactly. Like, it's all situational. And, like, I think Wilson's arm talent, like, natural arm talent is too stupid to have him not be at least semi-successful. Wilson's either going to boom or bust. I've been saying that the entire draft process.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think Lawrence is going to be the worst of the 3. That's my hot take.
Of the 5?
Or 5, yeah, worst of the 5.
Yeah, because then Lance is just on his way to. I mean, they're running what looks like a 2 QB system there in San Francisco there for a minute, but I think he'll eventually take that job. And then, yeah, Fields is actually in a great situation.
Except, he really is. I mean,
he's gonna get a new coach. The new coach is gonna build around him. He's got Montgomery. Yeah, he's got Montgomery. He's got Mooney.
Mooney look good. Robinson if he stays. Cole Kmet's turning into a solid tight end.
Yeah, and the line's not so bad, and then the defense is nice too. So I think it's really possible, especially with. I mean, and I don't think this is true, but I think it's funny to talk about with the rumors kind of going around that Urban Meyer doesn't like the pros so much.
Bro, I think Bobby Petrino's the shit out of them. It's gone by like week 8.
Dude, okay. Here's a quick shout out, but I was just watching Secret Base's Falcons documentary. It's like a 7-episode Falcons documentary.
I'm scared to start it. I haven't started it yet.
It's good. It's good. Like the last episode is just about 28-3. So it's like, I mean, it's really sad. But it's good. You get to hear about, Grit Splits, Dion, you get to hear about Vic, like all the good stuff. But what were we just talking about? Sorry.
Petrino.
Oh, Petrino. So I got to that Petrino part, and like I knew about the Petrino situation, but I was like kind of too young to understand it, I think, at the time. And so I just never really crossed my mind to go back to that, to think like, oh yeah, what actually did happen with that? And God, it's so bad. It's so bad. And he didn't just do it to the Falcons. He was doing it all over the place too. So, I think it's really possible that he just bounces out. He doesn't even get fired. He just says, yeah, this isn't for me.
Dude, Petrino's track record of doing shit like that is insane.
And he's still filthy rich, bro.
It's because the dude's a hell of a college coach.
Yeah.
Hell of a college coach. Like, I remember after he left us, he went to Arkansas. And then he had that huge Arkansas scandal thing.
Yeah, and then he went to Louisville, right?
He went to Western Kentucky and then Louisville.
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
That's crazy.
Bobby Petrino's insane. Like. I think that's what Lane Kiffin's going to grow up to be like.
So, like Bobby Petrino?
Some
just a crazy good college coach, and yeah. Because he's still at FAU, right?
No, Lane Kiffin's at Ole Miss now, bro.
Oh, Ole Miss, yeah. Because he was at USC, then Bama, then, yeah. Goodness. I mean, I think it's really possible. I was hoping for Trevor Lawrence's sake that Urban Meyer would be okay. But I don't think I had much faith in the Urban Meyer hire, really, from the time that it happened.
No, not at all.
It didn't feel like the move.
It felt forced in a sense.
Right, I agree. It felt forced. I think that they should have just grabbed. My vote is I thought they should have grabbed Brandon Staley, who's now coaching the Chargers. Who I think's a hell of a coach, but that's a whole different thing.
I think they should have went with honestly Robert Saleh. That would have been my pick, because everything that was coming out about the Tom Coughlin era of Jacksonville, like the culture being shit and all that. Like a coach like Saleh just made too much sense to me. Like,
yeah, he's a man's man.
He comes in as a man's man. People love him. Like it just made too much sense to fix fractured program with a guy like that, but instead they go get Urban Meyer, who also brings controversy with him every single place he goes.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's not a good situation for the Jags right now. I think that team is actually on offense really talented. But it's just, I don't think it's the right fit at the coach, and maybe that is another week one overreaction. But maybe not. Maybe not.
I mean, I think there has to be some truth to the rumors, at least. Like where there's smoke, there's fire, and he may not. It may not like happen, but I'll be damned if you don't think he's considering it right now.
Yeah, because he just got torched by a team that we called earlier in this podcast the worst roster in the NFL. So
yeah, and
like
he's been on record before saying the USC job might be the most appealing in college football, and is his dream job, I believe.
Lord, wasn't it? Oh God, I can't remember. It was one of the Falcons coaches again that I'm thinking of that was like obsessed with going to UW to the Washington job, and then and ended up leaving. Man, I'll come back. I'll throw it in the notes. But it's another thing. You got to watch the documentary, bro. The secret base.
Are you talking about Jim Mora when he bailed out for the UCLA job?
No. It's all right, let me hit this Google real quick. Falcons.
Because your thing sounds familiar, but I don't remember who the hell it is.
No. Falcons coach, Washington. No.
Which Falcons coach one of the? I'm gonna Google it on my phone, see if I can find it for you.
We're doing it together. Here we go. Because it was a coach that, like, he was the coach of the Falcons, and they brought him on the radio, and he just would not shut the fuck up about how much he wanted the Washington coaching job. He was like, if the Washington coaching job ever opens up, I'm leaving the Falcons immediately.
Are you sure it wasn't Jim Mora Jr.? Because that's the first one that popped up. Oh yeah, dude, he played at Washington as a college, and he coached there as a grad assistant.
It might be.
I feel like it has to be Jim Mora because like shit like that fits what Mora would do.
Yeah, then it's probably him. But that's what it sounds like is gonna happen. He's just gonna become too obsessed with it. He's gonna head out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's I don't know. I don't think the NFL's for him anyway.
I don't think so. The NFL's not for a lot of the college coaches. A lot of them don't like having to give up complete control when they move up to like have to deal with a GM and an owner.
Yeah, a GM and an owner, and also having to deal with like actual grown men.
Yes.
It's different talking to an 18, 19, 20-year-old than it is talking to a 35-year-old man. Like you are dealing with people who are actual grown men who can handle themselves, and I don't know. I think there's definitely some coaches that are in the NFL now that still don't understand that. So
very much so.
But that's about all I have to say on that. We will see how the coaching carousel turns out once again this year. I mean, there's some coaches who might not even last year. There's some coaches who we might be shocked that they're around much longer than we imagined. And that's pretty much all about all I got for this episode. Hunter, you got any closing words before we hit the end record button on this thing?
I don't really have any closing wisdom because I'm not a very wise man. Okay. But if you're not following us on Twitter, you need to be following us on Twitter at the Backups, not the Backups Cast, Backups _
ATP. Yep.
I think that's our new one.
Yeah.
Same account, same two lovable idiots that we are. We're still here. We just have a new home at Around the Block. If you're not following Around the Block, follow Around the Block. If you're not following each of us individually, follow us individually.
And as well as all of the Around the Block pages. I mean, if you have a favorite team in pretty much any sport, we got a Twitter page for it. So
Or if there's not a Twitter page, there's somebody that covers
there's
them.
somebody that covers it for Around the Block. So come to Around the Block for any of your team needs. We're doing in-depth articles all the time. I mean, we got a group message full of hundreds. Yeah, we got. If you're into metal, Around the Block's got that. So
if you enjoy like hearing about the college athlete lifestyle, there's a couple of guys that do a podcast of that.
Yep.
Felix does his Talking Ish podcast, which is
just random stuff too. So
it's literally just Felix hopping on there and talking shit, which is cool. That's cool.
So if you know whatever you're into, Around the Block is a great site for that. And as well as continue to listen to us, and hopefully you'll get something out of us near every week when we have the time. So
and when we don't lose the episodes.
And when we don't lose the episodes. But that being said, like Hunter said, follow us on Twitter. Give ATB a look, Around the Block, and make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit the little like buttons and follows on your podcasts, and we will see you very, very soon. Thanks for listening.